There we are. Hey guys, Model Man Frank here. How you doing today? Just trying to see what was going on with the channel there. Um, so sorry about the little problem and stuff. So if you're new to the channel, thanks for coming on. If you are watching this on playback or live, it's March the 7th, 8 p.m. One question I'm probably going to ask of you is I'm gonna put a poll out, and I'd love it if you guys would be as truthful as possible and let me know if you guys like me. I used to go once a week on doing these videos on doing the live videos. I liked it a lot. It was a lot of fun, but it was hard because like I had to put time aside and really have to be committed. If you want to go out to dinner at night with your wife, you can't 'cause you're gonna go live. Happy life kind of deal. So, um, what I'd like to do is maybe get twice a month we can go live and work on airplanes, and I'll just go live. Uh, I'll try and set it up, and it'll definitely be on Saturday nights at 8 o'clock. And I'll let you know. I'll put a post out, and y'all let me know if that's okay with you guys. Saturday nights is good, uh, between 8 or 8:30 ish, and we just sit here and chat about planes and work on model airplanes and so on and so forth. So, if you guys have been paying attention to the channel, this is a plane that I've been working on. This is a Goldberg J-3 Cub, and one of our viewers sent me a cowling to be able to put it because it didn't have one. Thank you very much for sending this, Jeff. If you guys can, follow Jeff in the pit, and he's got some really cool content. He's rebuilding, I believe, a Taylor craft, I believe, um, and it looks really, really nice. I hope to see it, all built out. Working on a Mustang also, so if you get a chance, go over to his channel and follow him on his channel. But he helped put this cowling together. I mean, it's a little rudimentary, but you know what? It'll work really, really well, and I think it's really, really cool. As you can see, the Piper Cub now has a prop on it. It's a pretty big prop. Um, it's a master screw. I believe that this prop will work as an electric. I was able to fit a collar on it, and it's centered really well centered. So see it centered. Um, if you guys are on the channel and you're talking here, I may not be able to see you. There we go. For some reason, it wasn't. So I've got two computers. So if you see me looking at the camera right now, and I turn and look this way, it's because I have another computer set up with my channel. I have another email address that I'm using, so I can see the chat because the software that I'm using right now, it's not working right. For some reason, it's not showing me the chat as it goes. So if you see my head turn and look this way, it's because I'm looking at what you guys. Hey Jeff, how you doing? Uh, See what you guys are typing and what you guys are asking questions and so on. So let's get back to it. This is the Cub. This is the J3. Um, this past week, I was able to add the motor and add the. This morning, if you watched one of my short videos in the playlist for the Cub, I was able to build a electric motor mount for it out of balsa. I have a lot of like pre-made engine mounts from other airplanes, and somebody donated some stuff to the club, and I paid a couple of bucks and got a couple of these, and I'm gonna hope to manufacture some. But I was able to mount my own electric motor mount to the front of the plane. I'm actually gonna crank it off so you guys can see what it looks like, and it looks really nice. It's not on tight, so only two bolts on here, two screws. Just take this one. There you go. Now you can see the plane, right? So the jewelry box comes off, and there is the jewelry. So let me turn on this light over here. So the light over here. There you go. Perfect. For light. So as you can see, um, the motor, I've already tried it out. It runs a good throttle amount, and it will be able to pull the plane into the air really, really well. This is a 650 kV, and I've got a 50 amp ESC in it. I'm going to be mounting, this one will run off a 4 cell LiPo, either a 33 or a 4000 milliamp battery. I think with either or, it'll be just fine to pull it up into the air with the big wings and everything like that. Now I've got the wing struts. The wing struts are in the back. I've got the wing already set up. I don't know if you guys were. I have a video coming out about the PT-19. I think it was last week's video. Not exactly sure. Don't quote me on this. But there was a problem with the PT-19, and I think I'm going to have to rewire it. And that's going to be another discussion. That's what I'm thinking next. Our next podcast, we'll talk about the history of the PT-19. The Piper Cub was first originally brought out in 1937. Was the initial launch of the Piper Cub. It had a 4-cylinder motor in it. I think the first ones were Continentals. No, it was a it was a Continental. I have it written down here, guys. I want to make sure I give it to you. Yep, I was right. Continental. So it had a 70 or 75 horsepower motor, depending on what you bought it. It was the next step up from the E2, the Taylorcraft E2, and you could buy this plane for $1,000. Considering, your car was about $1,000. So with inflation, this was about a $1,300 brand new airplane. My grandfather, I'm going to show you here. It's my grandpa, right? Make this a little bigger so you guys can see it. He's the gentleman on the far right, holding onto the prop. These are some farm kids from the town, and he gave basically he gave rides and things like that, and introductory flights on his Piper Cub. It was Pennsylvania Cub Yellow, which was the color. The specs on this plane, on why the Cub was such a specifically great. I mean, it was a great plane. It started as the Taylor E2 Cub, named after its original weak Tiger Kitten engine. William T. Piper took over the company, and designer Walter, can't really pronounce his name, I'm so sorry, Jamanu. I butchered it, I really do apologize. Jamanu, Jamounau is his name. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce the name. Refined it into the J3 as you see today. 1937 to 1938, it was priced around $1,300. It made flying accessible to everyday people, much like the Model T did for the car. Piper himself was compared to Henry Ford in disguise. So my grandfather became a Piper Cub dealer in Cuba. He was the very first Cuban on the island to have a plane, and so he would sell the plane. He would buy the plane. It came in a crate, and he took the plane out of the box. If I'm going to share a link on the bottom of the description of this video itself, so you guys can watch like a little documentary I did with my dad, and he talked about growing up just before Castro and during that whole period of when my grandfather got into the aviation business, his airfield, and then the culmination of when he had to leave Cuba because of Castro taking over in the Bay of Pigs. And there's a couple other things I want to talk to him. I hope to be able to sit down with him again and we have a conversation about the Cuban Missile Crisis. Something I've really been wanting to talk to him about, and what he remembers it, and get his thought process on that, and what happened during that time period, when Kennedy and the Cuban Missile Crisis was going on, and so on. So I really would like to get his perspective on and what he was living through, knowing what was going on, or if he even knew what was going on. So I believe he left in '62 when he said he left. So it was just before my brother was born in '68. So, but getting back to the Cub, the Cub was a super lightweight aircraft. I mean, you can look at it. I mean, yeah, it was two pilots. That's it. Super lightweight. Had a 65 horsepower engine, top speed of 87 miles per hour. Cruise speed was around between 70 and 75 miles an hour. As a 12-gallon tank, which was right in the nose. Later models, pilots were sticking the tanks in the wings, and then you had three tanks. So you had this tank here, then this tank, and this tank, and then the top canopy, you had a see-through canopy at the top. Some didn't. Some didn't have the see-through piece on top. Some were just like it was a made-to-order plane, so you built it any way you really wanted. Fabric-covered steel tube fuselage, high wing, no flaps. It was a simple plane to fly. You had to keep the speed up a little bit. I do know that, especially with these Cubs, you have to keep the speed going. It wasn't a forgiving airplane. If you stalled it, it would pitch over. Every Cub I've owned, every time you come in for a landing, you got to be careful when you're coming in. You got to keep the speed up. I mean, not full throttle. You want to keep momentum going, have that flow going over the wings, or else you could easily tip stall the wings. Again, no flaps, just pure giving stick and rudder aircraft. Um, it was the plane that you learned how to fly in the 1930s and into the 1940s. And when you entered military service, this was a plane that you actually learned how to fly in before you got into biplanes like the Stearman and such like that. A lot of the farm boys from the Midwest, small town America, you know, they learned how to fly on these. They kind of got their first inkling of aviation in a Cub. Talk to any guy, and they'll all tell you, "Oh yeah, I flew in a Cub," or they flew in a Cessna nowadays. It's either a Cessna or a Cub. Um, the interesting about the Cub is that it was used in frontline service. In other words, in World War II, this plane flew in World War II. It was even reported that some actually got into blows with German tanks. Um, it was low, it could slow down. Um, it was painted, the military version was called the Grasshopper, and this one doesn't have it, but basically the Grasshopper had windows all the way back to about here. And this was all covered in like plexi back here. And the pilot would sit here, but you could actually change the CG around, and basically your pilot could sit in the front, then you could put a litter in the back. And what I mean by a litter is that you could actually put a man on a stretcher in the back here. He'd be facing outward, and then you could have a pilot in the front, and you could fly the plane out. And you could take off pretty much almost anywhere. Any like real field was good for the plane. It was, like I said, it was an easy plane to fly. The ones that fought against the Germans, the pilot actually ended up putting two bazookas on the struts of the aircraft and actually firing the bazookas using a string that he had on the inside of the trigger. Why is this yellow so famous? Well, this is called Signature Cub Yellow. Every Cub pretty much has this yellow. There's some Cubs that are painted white and red. See Cubs that are painted blue and white. But this is the signature yellow for every single Cub. It's called Lock Haven Yellow. With a black trim, came with a little black stripe that went along the pinstripe on the side. Over 20,000 of these little airplanes came out from 1938 to 1947. And then after the war, there were 48 models, and then there were later on models that came out also. I believe they continued building the plane up until modern times. That was at the peak. They had well over 20,000 of them built. Get you an accurate number. So for an airplane like this, for this plane to be 20,000 of them built, think about it. The Cherokee had close to 30,000. So this plane really did serve a purpose during the war. There were 48 models, there were 47 models, 6 models. Some of the guys will actually be flying. I know there was a lot more of them flying. Still built. Um, Derivatives came off of this plane. There's Cub crafters that came out with a body style of the same plane, but you could tell a Cub crafter from a Piper Cub Now, from far away, you can't tell the difference. Cub Crafters looks just like a cub, but as you get closer, you can tell a Piper Cub from a Cub Crafter. Cub Crafter has a little bit better tubing, interior's a little bit fine. Uh, the engine's different. And then what also came off of these were so many uh, modified Piper Cubs, which like Carbon Cub came out with. There was a company that redefined the way a Cub was made, and they put a honking engine on it, and they called it, the Carbon Cub, which was basically a super cruiser. It was a super Cub with a bigger motor, and most of the parts were carbon fiber and new age aluminums and things like that. And you can buy one now for close to almost $200,000, right? Between $90,000 to $200,000 for a carbon cut. I even know a couple of pilots that have them. They have big knobby wheels on them. You have to land them on grass, and you know tires will wear out very quickly if you don't land on grass or gravel. If you're using it on major strips, you'll go through tires really quick. So, like these little tires that are for the Cub, not this specific model here, these are Dubros, and I wanted to get the spongy ones. So, when it bounces, it has that spongy Dubro look to it. Will I put hubcaps on it? This one's not going to have hubcaps. I can tell you that. So let me tell you a little bit about this bird. This bird here was given to me by a friend of mine at the club. His name was Mike, and he flew it for a couple of years. He had a gas power motor. As you can tell, this area is all discolored because there was a gas motor on it. The gas motor stuck out basically as far as you could see with the electric motor. It was indentated in here, and then you have the gas motor mount. The motor sat upside down, piston kind of sticking out the side. Sorry, yeah, it was piston down, the muffler came out of this side. He took the motor out and then gave me the plane. The plane had like a covering, like an original covering on it, a cloth style covering. I've never seen that type of covering before. I've seen a lot of model airplanes with that type of covering, and I don't know the name of that covering. I think it's Eurotech. Can't remember. I remember seeing it in the hobby shops when I would build, but I would always cover my planes with monocoat, so I wasn't really into the fabric covers. I would cover in monocoat and then like give it a light sanding, and then put a dull finish on the planes. So all my planes were always covered in monocoat. Jeff, I don't know, Jeff. I don't know if you know that the name of that covering. It's like fabric covering. As a matter of fact, the club gave me a project to do, which is another Cub in the back here. I'm going to rebuild it with an electric motor and later on sell it and help the club make a little money off that plane there. So I'll be taking off the motor. It's a bigger club. We'll talk about it in another video. But yeah, it's going to be a project. So here on this Cub, see if I can tilt it for you so you can see. So what it is if I look above me, I have all my balls over. So if you can see here, I took out the window here. So basically what I've done is I'm putting magnets here, and I have a little magnet up here. This is where the canopy is used as a hatch. So I can put the battery inside. The battery will go in the front here. And then I'll either lay it down, maybe I'll make a tray in here, but I got to see how it sits with the wing on and weight and balance situation. Does it sit well laying down, or does it sit well standing up? I don't know. So it's got the original, take this picture out of my hands. actually going to shrink it. So it's got the original Futaba radio. Now, something I was telling you guys about the PT-19. PT-19, I have to redo servos. Newer servos work better. They had the original Futaba servos, and I took them out. This one actually has newer servos, and they're metal geared servos that I got from Amazon. So they're a little bit more of an upgrade with metal gears. I wanted to put metal gear because I don't want them stripping. The worst thing that can happen to you is you're flying your plane, you've got a plastic servo on there, and it strips in mid-flight, and you can't control up or down pitch or left or right. You really don't want it. It turns into a bad day. So these servos here are controlling elevator and rudder control. In the next couple of days, it's been really windy here the past couple of days. Tomorrow's supposed to be a little less breezy, but I'm not going to go fly wildwood because I got some things to do. I got things to do. So sometimes, can't always be going fly plenty. I'll do a taxi test on this one, probably around the house here now, and get it ready. Probably maybe for the next month or so. She'll make her first flight. EAA bike is actually going to be first. Or maybe the other one. I gotta wait until the wind dies down. I hate doing flights because you can't really control the plane. You can't really trim it out the way you want. So yeah, the servos, they're metal geared servos. They're high tech. Yeah, I'll put the link in the description box so you can find these servos. They're metal geared servos, really good servos. So, excuse me, I'm tired, guys. Long day today, long day. But yeah, so Cub was basically a plane that was universal. Being that it was a plane that came in a box, you could do whatever you wanted. And you could put a bigger motor on the plane. A lot of pilots, they turned them. A lot of these you would see flying in Alaska, floats up. You could put skis on the plane. I think there's actually a version where, if I'm not mistaken, some guy actually, I saw one in a magazine somewhere where the guy actually made it into a tricycle. I don't know why you would do that. It really, I don't know if it tracks well as a triplane. But yeah, he put the landing gear farther back, and then put a nose wheel on it, make it a triplane. At that point, you're making it into a type of triplane. The only difference is you're not carrying it. We have to show the tail, because that would be very. But yeah, you could make this into a seaplane. It was really popular as a seaplane, and I've seen a lot of RC guys do seaplane. So this is the Goldberg kit. The Goldberg kit came out, if I'm not mistaken, in the 1980s, and it was the kit to have. I believe that this is the anniversary edition. Not sure, because this plane was already built when I bought it. There is an anniversary edition of this kit floating around. You can find them on eBay. Some people, they see anniversary. Ooh, I gotta sell it for $500. You're selling a box of balls worth $500. Basically, really stupid. I mean, if it's a good condition kit and it's got all the components in it, you can sell it easily for about maybe $200 to $300. Don't. If you have this kit and you're watching this video, please don't sell it for $500. Then you're basically buying the plane so you never built it. And don't buy a plane and never build it and stick it on the shelf and say, I'll get to it later. Buy it, build it, fly it. That's what these planes are great for. You can find the plans for this specific plane on Outer Zone. And yes, I will leave links to all of these things that I'm talking about in the description box below. So make sure you check down there. Also, if you're watching this, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. And number two, if you're a first time subscriber, or actually if you're watching this video for the first time you've never subscribed, go over to this side, yes, and you're going to hit my channel, you're going to subscribe, hit the little bell icon. I have a video that comes out pretty much almost every day. I also do posts, so you guys can see some of the things that I do. 'Cause I'm in aviation. My career is in aviation. I like talking to you guys. I like showing you guys stuff about aviation. So this is the channel that you want to listen to for anything like aviation related stuff that goes on at my airport where I work. I'll take pictures of it and stuff like that and post them so you can see it. This is better than going on Facebook. Yeah, I do have a Facebook account if you guys want it. It's Model Man Frank, the same name, and you can follow me there. But I don't really go on there too much. I usually just read news and stuff like that, or what's going on here in town. But follow me here. This is the best place to follow me because I'm always going to have videos coming out about the planes. You know, this is all about YouTube. It's about the model airplanes, about some of the planes that we see in the sky, and history. So make sure you go right here, hit the little subscribe button, and yeah, we're gonna try and do live sessions maybe twice a month. Okay, where I'll just sit here and do some build. Maybe I'll just sit here and do build. Today we're just gonna talk about the Cub, and then our next video we won't talk, we'll just build. So actually, this one here I wanted to add. So if you've ever seen these little things, I like these things. These are actually, they go on the control horn, the control rods that are attached to the, and I'm actually going to put this one. Wish I had a camera I could show you. So what I'm doing, I'm going to talk you through it. You guys can hear me. So what I'm doing here is taking this little guy here and putting it on the control rod for elevator. And basically this is a lock horn. And it keeps the control rod from popping out. Because I've had that happen where you're flying your plane and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I don't have control of my plane. And that's just not good. When you're flying your plane and you're, trying to lift your elevator and the plane is just kind of you're going into a controlled, descent with the motor. Usually I fly half throttle and the plane's just going, or it's starting to porpoise through the air. It goes up, it goes down. That's what happened with Taylor crash. If you watch that video, the plane went straight up, did a backflip, and went straight into the ground. And I don't know if it was, I checked everything. I even brought home the receiver. And after that crash, when I did the dissection to try and find out what happened, the receiver worked fine. And there was no wind that day. There was barely enough wind. And my mistake on the first time was I should have said, you know what, I'm not going to. Let me just take it. And I did it. I flew again. Plane did a backflip and went right into the ground. Will I rebuild it? Probably, most likely, I will because it'll be fun. And like I said, this is a hobby. If you really like it, the best part about flying is a hobby. Something I want to pass along to you. I know some of you probably belong to clubs. I I know some of you probably live outside of towns, or you live in cities and you don't have a club. If you don't have a club, or if you live in another country, you guys don't have a flying club, make one. Seriously, get out there, join a club, make friends, guys. You know, this hobby is so great. I have met so many great people in this hobby, and when I got into this hobby, um, I got into RC flying in my teens. It was so much fun. A lot of the guys that I flew were ex-World War II pilots. They flew P-51s, they flew P-38s. I met a guy that he was in the D-Day landings. I mean, I even had uh, the oldest member. His name was Joe, and he was a Wacko pilot. He flew gliders in Normandy, and the stories he would tell. It was, I'm 16 years old, and I'm in this model airplane club with a bunch of World War II vets and Korean vets. And it was a lot of fun. I learned so much. And then, of course, life took over, and I had marriages, jobs. I didn't have room to have the RC plane, so I got into plastic models. I still like to build stuff, and I got into that for a while. And then now I'm back to the RC thing. I still have plastic models. One of these days, maybe I will pull a plastic model out, and right here on this table. I'll build it for you guys here. If you guys like it, I hope you. I still like it. But join a club. Club learn so much. And if you don't know about your RC plane, a club, we clubs will show you, and guys will be more than willing and more than they'll be excited to get you into the hobby and have fun doing it and show you what is so fun about this hobby. It's not only just flying the planes, but it's also the camaraderie and the friendships that we build in this hobby. So yes, if you don't have a club, make a club, join a club. If you have clubs in your area, go to the AMA website. Really important, you have to join AMA. If you're in another part of another country, I don't know how it works over there, but here in the United States, we have the AMA. I don't know if AMA in Canada is available. I don't know how it works over there, guys in Canada. Um, I don't know how it works in India. I know I've got some Indian guys that watch me. Great Britain, I don't know if you have the AMA in Great Britain. But yeah, you have to, here in the United States, you have to join the AMA to belong to a lot of RC clubs. It's $75 a year. And if you do 2 years, it's 2 years. And, oh, well, I don't know if you're like me. I like getting a magazine. Aviation magazine. Get a magazine, nice glossy magazine, you know. Has really cool articles inside. Or you'll get the digital copy. You can read it on digital. You can read it on your phone. And yes, they do have free plans. Go to their website. Link in the description box, so you can go and find some free plans on there, and you can download the free plans. You can print out the tilings, and boom, you can get your free plans. So yeah, we're gonna do this every 2 weeks, and I'll talk more about the AMA, talk more about the planes. Got a couple other planes that I'm building. I have a couple other planes that I have to do repairs on, and every 2 weeks we'll try and do this live jam session because it's a lot of fun. I like doing it with you guys. I like talking to y'all, and you're still building the plastic model. So do I, man. I like it. I just can't see the little piece. Yeah, if you're building 1/72nd scale, it's really hard because the pockets are like that big. But if you're building like 1/48 or 1/32nd, 1/32nd, like an F-15 was about that big. It was a pretty big kit. If you're building like 1/48 scale, for like a I don't know, like a Mustang, it was about that big. 1/32nd was like, yeah, it was about that big. If you're building a B-17, that was how big a B-17 at 1/48. The 1/72nd scale B-17s were a little smaller. I had 1/72nd scale. I had my whole office, my whole man cave, and where we used to live was full of plastic bottles. Until I changed hobbies and I got into something else. That's the one thing about hobbies. It's okay. You're gonna try something else for a little while, but then you get tired of it, and you're like, you know what? Back to doing the airplane things. I like. That's what happened when I graduated out of the plastic models and graduated out of bicycle builds. And I ran my bicycle shop and everything. I started looking more and more into RC and saying, back into RC. I really wanted to do that. When I closed the business, that's what happened. I built a model airplane kit, and I was like, you know what? Take it back into the RC thing. Guess what? I started the channel. I started the YouTube channel, and I started sharing my hobby with you guys. That's really a lot of fun. So if you're watching this, if you young guys out there just getting into the hobby, you know, you're in high school, want to know if you have time for it. You do have time for it. Join a club, hang out at the club. You don't have to be there every single day. Just come over like on the weekends. You guys are in school. Come on Saturday. Saturday is the best time. Come early in the morning. Meet up with the guys. We'll help you put your plane together and have each other fly. But you have to join the AMA first. Get your AMA certificate. If you're under the age of 19 or 20 years old, it's $15 to join. You get the magazine or the digital copy. You can join for 2 years. I think it's $30. And then over the age of 19, you have to start paying the regular adult dues, which is $75. 2 years, $160. You get magazine. You get to know what's going on. And it's great if you're actually an aviation guy because you're flying RC planes and into aviation. Yeah, you meet some really cool guys. A lot of people fly real planes and then they go home on the weekends and they're flying their RC planes. It's kind of cool. I work at an airport and I come home and I work on an RC plane. So I work at work on planes and then I come home, have dinner, and I come out and work on my planes or I go inside and I watch something. But yeah, that's what I've gone off a little bit tangent. It's more about the cover I want to talk to you guys about. But I'm so happy that to be able to have these conversations, just have a good conversation. So, guys, the next mark your calendars for now. I'll tell you right now when maybe we'll do the next one. Let's see, the 7th. We could do the next live podcast on Friday. How's that sound? I think that we'll do that. Or we'll do Saturday the 21st. I mean, that would be kind of next day. I'm probably going to be going to the show down in Palm Beach. So I don't know. We'll play it by ear. I'll see how it goes this week, and I'll let you know. It's either going to be 24. Actually, maybe we'll do it the 28th. 28th is a good safe time period. I don't have any plan for that. I think the wife has it. So we'll do it for the 28th, guys. And build some planes and talk. Hopefully this one will be ready for flying. So just a little quick update. The EAA bike, which is over my shoulder here, got its prop. I still have to fix the rudder problem. I got a rudder issue where it only makes left-hand turns like it's in a NASCAR race. It's not making right-hand turns like it should. In other words, if I get on the runway, I'm going to have to go around in circles and make a left-hand turn. But the prop is on. It works on the cowling and everything. That's ready to go. Taking it up to the field, I got to disassemble it, stick it in the car, and it takes about 30 minutes for me to get it all back together. Make sure all the wiring's tucked away, and hopefully, cross the prayers. Oh my God, that we have some the wind dies down enough that I can get that bird in the air and have a successful. Piper Cub here is most likely not going to be flying anytime soon. I do believe I think on the safe bet, I'll get her flying probably next month. It could change. I don't know. But with all that said, guys, it was an absolute pleasure for you all to join me tonight. And I hope that you guys learned a little bit of something about me and a little bit about Grandpa here. Take his page off. And again, this is your first time watching, smash the like button. Please do. Helps out with the algorithm. Subscribe and hit the bell icon. I got a video coming out almost every day. Help grow the channel if you like the stuff that you're watching and the stuff that you're seeing. Share it with your friends, and we will catch you guys on the next one. All right? I'll talk to you guys later. Keep in touch. Watch the channel. I'll let you guys know when we're next live shop time.